Let's get right into it. Number 10. The drink your own pee strategy. Yes, the golden rule of survival, and I mean golden literally. Somewhere along the line, people decided that drinking your own urine in a survival situation was a good idea. Maybe it's because Bear Grylls did it once on TV, or because humanity has a long history of trusting the wrong guy with a stick and a camera. But here's the deal. If you're stranded in a desert and you think turning yourself into a human espresso machine is the move, you're basically accelerating your dehydration. Urine is not some magical recycling fluid. It's your body's garbage water, packed with salt, urea, and toxins your kidneys spent all day kicking out. When you drink it, your body's like, wait, didn't we just get rid of this? And has to waste even more water trying to process it again. It's like re-downloading a virus after deleting it. In fact, soldiers during World War II were warned against this exact myth after people stranded at sea tried it and ended up dying faster. The salt content alone can mess with your electrolytes so badly that you start hallucinating, which is great if your goal is to argue with imaginary seagulls before passing out. So, if you're ever lost in the wild and thinking, maybe it's pee time, remember, the only thing you're recycling is your bad decisions. Number 9. The warmth of alcohol. Picture this, you're freezing to death in the snow. You find a bottle of whiskey, take a swig, and suddenly feel all warm and toasty inside. Congratulations, you've just tricked your body into dying faster. This myth goes back centuries, especially among soldiers and mountaineers who thought a good gulp of brandy was like installing an internal fireplace. But the truth is, alcohol dilates your blood vessels, pushing warm blood from your core out to your skin. You feel warmer because your skin temperature rises. Meanwhile, your vital organs are chilling out like a popsicle at a sauna. Your body's core temperature drops even faster, but your brain thinks you're fine because it's busy enjoying the buzz. So people used to wander off into snowstorms feeling great, then just stop. Like a Windows update that never finished. Even the Russian army had to ban vodka as a warming drink during winter warfare because too many soldiers were freezing with smiles on their faces. Alcohol doesn't save you from the cold, it politely helps the cold finish the job. So know that cozy buzz isn't warmth. It's your body throwing a party while the power slowly shuts off. Number 8. The play dead bear myth. Okay, so you're hiking through the woods, and suddenly, there it is. A bear. Every survival guide, movie, and your uncle with a camping addiction has told you the same thing. Just play dead. Sounds simple, right? Like the bear will take one look at your motionless body and go, yes, this one's expired. Moving on. Except no. That only sometimes works. Against some bears. Under specific conditions. And people historically did not get that memo. The play dead trick comes from the idea that grizzly bears, being territorial, will stop attacking if you're not a threat. But that doesn't apply to black bears, which are more likely to see your still, floppy body as an easy snack. So when 1800s explorers or 20th century campers tried this trick on the wrong kind of bear, the bear basically said, cool, free lunch. And let's not forget, even with grizzlies, it's a gamble. You're supposed to lie flat, protect your neck, and hope the bear decides you're boring. But early survival manuals left out that part. People would play dead while screaming, running, or making eye contact, which is bear language for fight me. So, if you ever think, I'll just go limp, remember, nature doesn't read your survival blog. Number 7. Sucking out snake venom. Somewhere in history, a person got bitten by a snake and another person decided, quick, I'll suck it out. And that was it. Humanity's dumbest emergency response was born. Movies, old medical manuals, and even early first aid kits used to encourage this nonsense. Here's the science. Venom spreads through your lymphatic system, not just the bite site. By the time you get your mouth over it, it's already on its way to the rest of your body. All you're really doing is giving yourself a mouthful of poison and possibly an infection. There have been actual cases where both people, the bitten one and the sucker, ended up in the hospital. The idea became so popular that people genuinely carried snakebite kits, with little razors and suction cups. Spoiler, they didn't work. The suction removes almost no venom, maybe 2% if you're lucky, and the razor part just adds a bonus wound. The real fix? Stay calm, immobilize the limb, and get to a hospital. That's it. Don't be a hero, don't be a straw. If you try to suck out the poison, congratulations, you've just performed the least sexy CPR of all time. Number 6. The shade trap. Imagine you're stuck in the desert, no water, blazing sun, heat shimmering like a stove top. You see a patch of shade under a rock formation and think, perfect, I'll wait this out until it cools down. Classic move, if you enjoy slowly baking to death like a rotisserie chicken. The stay put in the shade myth comes from logic. Shade means cooler, right? Well, yes, but not enough. People used to believe that simply avoiding sunlight was enough to survive in extreme heat. Early explorers, soldiers, and lost travelers would crouch under ledges or inside caves, waiting for rescue. Except the air around them still cooked, the heat reflected from the ground, and the body continued to sweat out its remaining fluids like a leaky water balloon. In the Sahara, for example, early 20th century expedition logs describe men dying just a few feet from shade because they thought sitting still would conserve water. The problem is, your body doesn't care about your plans, it's overheating. Without airflow or movement, the shade just traps the heat around you. You're basically marinating in your own humidity. The correct approach? Move when it's coolest, early morning or evening, and actually find water or shelter. Shade is only a temporary fix, not your desert Airbnb. So yeah, if you ever think, I'll just sit here till it's over, remember, the sun always wins, especially when you're pretending it's night. Number 5. The find food first instinct. This one is pure instinct, and pure wrong. You're lost in the wilderness, starving, panicking. You think, I need to find food or I'll die. Cue you eating weird berries and possibly hallucinating that the trees are talking. Here's the reality, you can survive weeks without food, but only a few days without water. Yet survival stories are full of people who went berry picking instead of drinking from a creek. Because our brains are drama queens. Hunger feels more urgent than thirst, even though thirst is the real killer. In the 1800s, Arctic explorers would literally starve surrounded by ice because they prioritized hunting over melting snow. Some even tried eating their leather boots or, no joke, candle wax. Meanwhile, their dehydration made them delirious enough to think it was working. Modern survival training drills this in hard. Water first, shelter second, food last. Your body's priority list is not the same as your stomach's. So, if you ever find yourself foraging before hydrating, remember, dying of thirst with a full belly is the dumbest buffet ever. Number 4. Rubbing frostbite. It's cold, your fingers are stiff, and you can't feel your nose. Old wisdom says, just rub it to warm it up. Yeah, that's great advice, if you're trying to turn your skin into ground beef. Rubbing frostbitten skin was an old folk remedy, probably because friction equals heat, and heat equals good, right? Except frostbite literally means your tissues are frozen. Rubbing them just shreds the already damaged cells and causes even worse tissue death. Early mountaineers, polar explorers, and soldiers all learned this the hard way. Their fingers basically fell off faster because they were helping. Doctors now say to rewarm frostbitten areas slowly, in warm water around body temperature. Not by rubbing, not by a fire, and definitely not by the old, slap it till it feels better, method. But for centuries, people treated frostbite like it was a cramp, and ended up losing limbs like they were auditioning for a pirate crew. So, next time someone says, just rub it, remember, that advice belongs in a massage parlor, not a blizzard. Number 3. The build a fire in a cave plan. Fire equals warmth. Shelter equals safety. Combine them and you've got the perfect survival setup, right? That's what early adventurers thought, until their cozy little fire turned the cave into a gas chamber. Caves seem like the ultimate refuge, windproof, rainproof, maybe even bear-free if you're lucky. But light a fire in a confined space and you're basically microwaving yourself in smoke and carbon monoxide. Ancient travelers didn't understand ventilation, so stories abound of people found dead beside perfectly burning fires. Even more ironic? Some died not from smoke, but from oxygen depletion. The fire ate up all the breathable air while they slept. It's the most tragic version of warm and cozy ever recorded. To this day, campers still make this mistake: small caves, tents, even snow shelters. Your body needs oxygen more than it needs comfort. So yeah, if you think a cave fire sounds like the perfect plan, remember, so did everyone else who didn't make it out. Number 2. The swim-to-shore instinct. You're shipwrecked. The boat's gone, you're floating in open water, and you can see land in the distance. Instinct kicks in: I'll just swim to shore. Cue dramatic movie music. But here's the problem: that's the exact move that's killed thousands of people throughout history. The swim-to-shore myth is rooted in panic and ego. Humans hate feeling helpless, and the idea of just floating there feels wrong. But cold water, currents, and exhaustion don't care about your determination arc. Most drownings happen because people burn all their energy trying to reach land that's much farther than it looks. In the 1800s and early 1900s, sailors who survived shipwrecks were often found dead halfway to shore, not because they couldn't swim, but because hypothermia hit faster than hope. Even modern survival experts say floating and conserving energy gives you a much higher chance of being rescued. It's called the help position, heat escape lessening posture, where you tuck in like a sad sea burrito and wait. Movies always show the hero swimming through waves with epic music. Reality? You'd be coughing up seawater, cramping like an old iPhone battery, and sinking faster than your optimism. So, if you ever end up in that situation, remember, the ocean loves false confidence. Float, chill, and let the rescue team do the cardio. Number 1. The walk toward civilization rule. This is the big one, the grand finale of fatal optimism. For centuries, the rule of thumb was simple: if you're lost, just keep walking. You'll eventually find people. Spoiler alert, a lot of those people never did. The idea made sense when Earth was smaller in our heads, when civilization meant there's probably a village over that hill. But in modern wilderness or desert environments, that hill is followed by another hill, then 5 more, then death. Historical explorers were notorious for this mistake. Lost prospectors in the American West, early pilots in the Sahara, even hikers today, they all walked themselves straight into dehydration and exhaustion. Your body burns water and calories way faster than your chances of finding anyone. That's why modern survival training teaches the opposite: stay put. Make yourself visible, make noise, and wait for rescue. People who stay in one place have a much higher survival rate, because rescuers can actually find them. One famous case in the 1960s involved a man who crashed in the Yukon. He left his plane to find help. His footprints were discovered weeks later, 30 miles away, while his plane, and all its emergency supplies, was spotted by a rescue team days after he walked off. Basically, he died right next to the thing that would have saved him. The moral? Sometimes the most heroic thing you can do is absolutely nothing. Stay still, stay alive, and don't let your ego convince you that the wilderness is just one scenic walk away from Starbucks. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.